Good evening. My name is Trisha Thakkar, and today I will be presenting on the topic Basics of Python Programming. What is Python? Python programming language. Python is an open source, object oriented, high level programming language. It was developed by Guido van Rossum in 1991 at the National Institute of Mathematics and Computer Science, which is present in the Netherlands. Python is a general purpose programming language that can be used effectively to build any kind of program that does not require direct access to computer hardware. It is used in many applications in our day-to-day lives. Some examples of these are Google, Netflix, Spotify, etc. Now I will be talking about the different features of Python. Python is interpreted, interactive, and directly executed with precompiled code. It is a loosely typed object-oriented programming language. It has a very few keywords and its structure is very simple and easy to learn. It is a free open source and portable language, and it has a large repository of libraries. It takes less time to develop Python programs, as Python programs are typically 3 to 5 times shorter than equivalent programs using other object-oriented languages. It is extensible and highly efficient, as there is no wastage of time in declaring the types of the different variables or arguments present in the code. It supports GUI, which is graphical user interface. It also supports garbage collection, which means it has a better memory management than others. It is easily compatible with other languages like C, C++, Java, etc. Python is used for both scientific and non-scientific programming. Now that we know what Python is, I will be talking about the advantages and limitations of Python. Advantages of Python. It is platform independent. This means that you can use Python across different operating systems. That includes Windows, Mac OS, etc. Readability. It uses clear, simple, and concise English-like instructions that are very easy to read and understand, even by people who do not have a programming background. It is, it is an object-oriented programming language. It is interactive. Next, it is high productivity. Since Python is a simple language with small codes and extensive libraries, it offers high productivity to programmers than languages like C++ and Java. Less learning time. Because of a simple and shorter code, less time is required to understand Python programming. And finally, GUI programming. This means that Python supports GUI applications that can be created and ported to many system calls, libraries, etc. Now, there are many advantages to Python, but it also has a few disadvantages. Limitations of Python are its speed. Python is slower than other programs like C, C++. However, it is a high-level language, unlike C or C++, so that is an advantage there. Mobile development. Python is not a very good language for mobile development. It is seen as a weak language for mobile computing. And this is the reason why a very few mobile applications are built using Python. Database access. Python has lots of limitations with database access. As compared to other popular technologies like Java database connectivity, Python's database is found to be underdeveloped. Runtime errors. Python has cited several errors in its design during the runtime. When you check the code at first, it seems to be correct, but these errors only show up during the runtime. How to download Python? You go to the Python page on the official website and click on Download Python, the newest version of it. And when the download is completed, you can double click the file and follow the instructions to install it. When Python is installed, a program called IDLE is also installed along with it, and it provides graphical user interface to work with Python. You can then write the Python code and you have to save it with a .py extension, py extension. Then you can run the program and see the output. Interacting with Python. The Python IDLE consists of two working models. The first one is the Python shell, and then we have the Python editor. Python shell. It is also known as the interactive mode of Python. This mode gives you an immediate output when code is entered. It gives you an output as soon as you type any form of code. The Python editor, on the other hand, is known as the script mode. In this mode, it gives you the output after the program is saved and run. Mostly, the Python editor is used for writing big and complex programs because only this allows you to save your work. You cannot save your work on the Python shell. This is an example of how the Python screen would look when you open it. On the top, there are lines over here. This is where you can type your code. This place on the right-hand side is the assistant. Whenever you're writing your code and Python automatically checks for errors or suggestions to make your code better. And this is shown in the assistant place over here. This is the shell. This is where the output will be shown once you run your code. This green button over here is the button for running the program, or you could use the shortcut that is the F5 key to run your program. Next, I will be talking about the functions in Python. Print function. This is one of the most basic functions that is present in Python. Its syntax is print, message value or variable in parentheses. These are a few points to note while using the print function. Anything entered in double quotes will print as it is. You can use commas to separate text and variables. You should use triple quotes if you want to enter multi-line statements. Over here, the code written is print hello world in parentheses and double quotes. The output over here will only show hello world as it is. Another example over here, we have signed the value of a as 5. When we want to print variables and text together, it is very important to use commas over here. So we write print I have in double quotes and then a separating it with commas. This will give you the output I have 5 apples. Another example over here is for the multi-line statements. If you want to use multi-line statements, you use triple quotes. Over here, you can see it is printed as it is, but in 3 separate lines, even though you've only used one function. Next, I will be talking about the Python character set. The Python character set consists of the following things. It has letters from A to Z, both uppercase and lowercase. It has digits from 0 to 9. It has all the special functions that are the mathematical operations, the relational operators, etc. The white spaces include the blank space, the tab space, and there are many other characters that you can use in Python. Each of these have their own ASCII values, and there are a total of 256 characters present in the Python. Variables and data types. A variable. What is a variable? Variable is like a container that stores values that you can access or change. Variable is a named unit of storage. A variable has 3 main components: the identity of a variable, the type of the variable, and the value of the variable. The identity of the variable. This refers to the variable's address in the memory, and this does not change once it is created. And this can be checked using ID of the variable. For example, over here, if we want to check the ID of x, which is assigned as 10 over here, you write the statement print ID of x. This in the output over here will give you the ID of x. That is, it is the address of where x is stored in Python. Data types of variables. The different data types that are available in Python are numbers, sequences, mappings, and none. Number variables. This data type stores numerical values. Python supports the following types of built-in numeric data types. First, we have int, which is the integer. This represents whole numbers without any fractional part, that is, all the integers. Bool, this is the Boolean. Boolean data type is a subtype of an integer. It represents one of the two values, true or false. Then we have float, which are the floating point numbers. These denote real numbers and are written with a decimal point. For example, all the decimals like 8.5, 7.5, etc. Complex numbers. These are made of a pair of real and imaginary numbers. Over here, the example is x is equal to 2 plus 6j. Over here, all the different types of the numeric data types are shown. The first one is an int, which is the integer. The second one is the floating point number, which is also known as float. Line 3 says print 5 is less than 8. Over here, that is true because 5 is less than 8. And so the output shown will be true, which is a Boolean. The line 4 shows a complex number. Sequence. A sequence is a group of items with a well-defined ordering where each item is indexed by an integer. The different types of the sequence data type are string. A string is a sequence of characters that can be a combination of letters, numbers, and special characters. These need to be enclosed within quotation marks. It can either be single quotes, double quotes, or triple quotes. List. It is a sequence of items separated by commas, and these items are enclosed in a square bracket. Tuples. These are a sequence of items, again, separated by commas. But the difference between the list and tuples is that the tuples are enclosed in parentheses. Here's an example. We say print hello welcome. This is an example of the string. That is the first type of sequences. In line 2, we are assigning a list to the variable a. And so we write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in square brackets. This gives us the output as a list. In line 4, we assign the value of b as a tuple by using parentheses instead of square brackets, and the output gives you a tuple. Value of the variable. Variables provide a means to name values so that they can be used and manipulated later on. Multiple assignments. There are two types of multiple assignments. Assigning multiple values to multiple variables, and assigning the same value to multiple variables. This is the example of both of them. In line 1, we are assigning multiple values, that is 1, 2, and 3, to multiple variables, that is a, b, and c. When we run this program, the output shows us 1, 2, and 3. In line 4, It is the example for same values in multiple variables. Over here, we have written x is equal to y is equal to z is equal to 10. When we print x, y, and z, it gives us the output as 10 for each. Variable names. In Python, there are certain rules that need to be followed to form a valid variable name. It has a lot of, it is very strict in this and can cause a lot of errors. A variable name must start with an alphabet. It can be capital or small, or an underscore character. It cannot start with numbers. A variable name can contain any number of letters, digits, and underscores. No characters apart from these are allowed. A Python keyword cannot be used as a variable. This means that all the keywords like print, input, for, etc. cannot be used as a variable name. Variable names are case sensitive. So over here, name with N as capital and name all lowercase are two different variables. You should always choose names for your variables that give an indication of what they are used for. So for example, if you have a variable that is assigned the value of something, you can either use N to represent number. Mutable and immutable data types. Mutable data types. Variables whose values can be changed after they are created and assigned are called mutable variables. The examples of mutable objects are list, dictionary, set, etc. Immutable data types. Variables whose values cannot be changed after they were created and assigned are called immutable variables. When an attempt is made to update the value of an immutable variable, the old variable is destroyed and the new variable is created by the same name in memory. The example of these are int, float, complex, string, bools, etc. Type conversion. There are many times while we are coding where the need of type conversion is required. The process of converting the variable value from one data type to another is known as type conversion. There are two types of type conversions. The first one is explicit conversion, and the second one is implicit conversion. Explicit conversion. This is also known as typecasting. It happens when data type conversion takes place deliberately. That means that the programmer forces it into the program. Implicit conversion. This conversion is also known as coercion. This happens when data type conversion is done automatically by Python and is not instructed by the programmer. Operators. Operators are special symbols or tokens which represent computation and perform various mathematical or logical operations. The different operators are mathematical and arithmetic operators, relational operators, logical operators, membership operators, and identity operators. Mathematical operators. These include the basic mathematical and arithmetic operators such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulo, exponentation, and flow division. Modulo over here means finding the remainder. So for example, if you do 5 mod 4, the output will be 1 because 1 is the remainder when 5 is divided by 4. Floor division is the exact same as normal division, except that in the output, only the integer part will be shown. Relational operators. The relational operators present in Python are less than, greater than, less than equal to, greater than equal to, not equal to, and equal to. Over here, it is important to note that the equal to operator should have two signs of equal to and not one, as one equal to sign is used for assigning values, not comparing them. Logical operators. The three operators in Python are or, and not. Or, if any one of the operands is true, then the condition becomes true. For and, if both the operands are true, only then will the output be true. And for not, it reverses the state of operand or the condition. Over here in line 1, I have written print 10 less than 25 and 5 greater than 6. Over here, 10 less than 25 is true, but 5 greater than 6 is not true. And since an and both of them need to be true in order for the output to be true, it is false. In line 2, we have used the or operator. It says 10 less than 25 or 5 greater than 6. Over here, only one of these conditions need to be true for the output to be true. Therefore, in the second line, the output is true. In line 3, we have used the not operator in front of 10 less than 25 and 5 greater than 6. Therefore, it will be true. Membership operators. The membership operators are in operator and the not in operator. This operator is used to check if the given keyword is present in the word or not. Over here in this example, the first line says print h in hello. Over here, h is present in hello, so it gives us the output true. We need to keep in mind that Python is very case sensitive because in line 2, when we enter in capital H, we write h in hello. This would give us the output false as capital H is not present in this word. Line 3, we are using the second operator, that is the not in operator. I have written h not in hello, which is false because h is present in hello. The last kind of operator is the identity operator. For this, we have the is operator and the not is operator. Is operator. It returns true if both the variables are pointing to the same object. Not is operator. It returns true if both the variables are not pointing to the same object. In this example over here, A is assigned the value of 20, B is assigned the value of A. When we print A is B, it is true because A and B both point to the same value. When we print A is C, it shows false because it does not point to the same value. Line 6, we have used the second one, that is not is. When we print A is not C, the output is true because A is 20 and C is 40. Over here, I have printed the ID addresses of each one of the variables. For both A and B, the ID is same, whereas for C, it is different. Input function. Input function is used to get data from the user while working in the script mode. It enables us to accept an input in the form of a string without evaluating its value. The syntax is variable is equal to input statement. Over here, the code is A is equal to input, enter your name, print A. When we run this program, it first asks you to enter your name, and when you enter your name and press enter, it gives you the output. Different data types in input function. When we want to input different data types, we have to add the data type in front of the input statement. For example, over here, to enter an integer, you need to write int input, enter your age. Only then it will treat the output, only then it will treat the information typed in as an integer. In line 4, we want the height of the person, and the height of a person is in decimals. Therefore, we use the floating point, that is float. Eval function. Eval function is used to evaluate the value of a string. It takes a string as an argument, evaluates it as a number, and then returns the numeric result. In this example, A is equal to 50 plus 10. This is a string because it's in double quotes. When we print A, it prints it as it is, 50 plus 10, because it is a string. But in line 3, when we use the eval function in front of the string and we print it, the output shown is 60. This is because the eval function converts the string into a numeric value and then adds it. Indentation in Python. Indentation is shifting of a statement to the right of another statement by adding white spaces before a statement. In Python, an indentation is used to form suits, that is, blocks of statements, that indicates that the group of statements belong to a particular block of code. This concept is used in functions, conditional statements, and loops. This is a photo of how the indentation would look on Python. Every block you move further, the indentation keeps increasing. The default indentation is a tab space, which is 4 keys, 4 blank spaces. Comments in Python. Comments are statements in a script that are used to explain your code. These statements are ignored by the Python interpreter and therefore have no actual effect on the output of the code. They make the code more readable and understandable, and a comment in Python starts with a hash symbol anywhere on the line till the end of the line. Over here, we can see that the comments are used to explain the function of every code you write. Over here in line 2, the comment is assigning a variable. And in line 3, we have another comment that says printing the variable. But these do not affect the output in any way. Conditional statements. There are 3 types of conditional statements in Python: the if statement, the if-else statement, and the if-elif-else statement. If statement. The syntax of if statement is if condition colon, and then you write the statements in the next indentation. If the condition is true, then the indented statements gets executed. There is no limit to the number of statements that can appear under an if block. If is a keyword and it is followed by a condition and ended with a colon. Over here, line 1 is A is equal to int input enter a number. Our next statement is an if-else statement. It says if A is greater than 5, print A, comma, is greater than 5. When we run this program, it first asks you to enter a number. Over here, I have entered the number 6. Then it checks the next command, that is, if A is greater than 5. 6 is greater than 5, so it will go ahead and print 6 is greater than 5. If-else statement. The syntax for this is the same as the syntax of the if condition, except at the end we have else, colon, and statements in the next indentation. If the condition is true, the if part is executed. If the condition is false, the else part is executed. For example, A is equal to int input enter a number. If A is greater than 5, print A is greater than 5. Else, colon, print A is not greater than 5. When we run this program again, this time I have entered the number 4. It first checks the if command. Is 4 greater than 5? This command turns out to be false, and so it prints the else part, that is, 4 is not greater than 5. Next, we have the if, elif, else statement. The syntax of this is if condition colon statement, elif colon statement, elif colon statement, else colon statement or statements. Over here, you can use as many elif statements as you would like in between the if statement and the else statement. The example over here is a is equal to int input enter number. If a is greater than 5, print a is greater than 5. Elif a is equal to 5 colon print a is equal to 5. Else colon print a is less than 5. This time when I run it, I enter the number 5. It first checks the if command. Is 5 greater than 5? This is false, so it moves to the next statement. That is, elif a is equal to 5. This time, the condition will be true because 5 is equal to 5. So it will print the statements under the elif, which is print 5 is equal to 5. Once this command is true, the else part is ignored and not checked, and it moves to the next set of lines in the code. Next, I will be talking about the different loops in Python. Loops in Python. Python programming language provides the following types of loops. We have the for loop and the while loop. For loop. The syntax of for loop is for variable in sequence or range, colon, statements for the for loop in the next indentation, else, colon, statements again in the next indentation. The for loop statement is used to iterate or repeat itself over a range of values or a sequence. The for loop is executed for each of these items in the range. In the for loop, it is known beforehand how many times the loop is going to be executed. Therefore, we can say that it is a finite loop. The range function in for loop. This is a very important function that is need to be known for using the for loop. The range is a built-in function in Python and is used to create a list containing a sequence of numbers starting with the start and ending with 1 less than stop. The parameters for this function are defined as start. It defines the first value of the initial iteration for the for loop. By default, it is set to 0. Stop. It marks the end of the iterations in a for loop. The iterations will repeat itself till 1 less than the stop value. Step. It is used to update, that is, increase or decrease the loop variable by a given value. If the step value is not provided, the value of the loop variable will be incremented by 1. This example, it is a code to print the first 10 natural numbers. In line 3, the code is for I in range 1, 11, colon, print I. 1 over here is the start value and 11 is the stop value. So it prints all the numbers starting from 1 till 1 less than 11, which is 10. So the output would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This next example is to print even numbers between 10 and 20. For I in range 10, 21, 2, print I. The start value is 10, the stop value is 21, and the step value is 2. So it starts from 10 and skips every 2 numbers and gives us the output. The output would be 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. This example is to accept the number of user to accept a number from the user and display its factors. N is equal to int input enter a number. For I in range I, comma n plus 1, if n mod I is equal to 0, print I. Notice how every time we are using a loop or a condition, the indentation keeps moving to the right. In this code, I have entered the in this program, I have entered the number 20. When a person enters the number 20, it becomes for I in range 1 to 21. And then it iterates through every single number till it reaches 20 and checks if that number is divisible, if 20 is divisible by that number. If 20 is divisible by the number, it prints it. And this gives us the factors of the number. And finally, we have the while loop. The syntax of while loop is while text expression colon, the body of the while, else colon, body of else. A while loop in Python executes a block of code repeatedly as long as the test or the control condition of the loop is true. The control condition of the while loop is executed before any statement in the body of the loop is executed. If the condition is true, then the body of the loop is executed. This is not a finite loop. The else statement in both for and while loop are optional and are not used often. An example for this is again to print the first 10 natural numbers, but this is using the while loop. Over here, we need to first assign the value of a as 1. While a is less than 11, print a. Over here, it is essential to add an increment statement, or else it would become an infinite loop and your program would never stop. Over here, it first takes the value of a as 1. It checks, is a less than 11? If it is true, it prints a. Then a is equal to a plus 1. The value of a becomes 2. And this keeps repeating till it reaches a is equal to 11. When it checks if a is equal to 11, the condition is false, so the program stops working. And in the output, we have the first 10 natural numbers. Thank you so much, and I hope this session was informative and you learned the basics of Python programming.